Hello everyone. I hope that your preparation for UPSC is going well. This is for both 2025 and 2026 people. So, initially, I will discuss the mandate and how we will be proceeding throughout these lectures. See, as you all know that this is a crash course for sociology. So, I would be dealing with all the important topics of your both papers, paper 1 and your paper 2, in such a manner that you will have conceptual clarity of all the topics. Now, I believe that you would have made your basic notes, this will help you to add value to your notes and also to revise sociology in a very shorter manner. I will help you to know that what are the important topics for sociology, what are the important thinkers, scholars, so that you can directly quote them in your answers or in your papers. Fine. So now we'll start with the first unit of sociology, which is your modernity and social changes in Europe, which led to the emergence of sociology. Firstly, in order to give a very basic understanding to the subject of sociology, first of all, you people must memorize this definition of sociology, which is given here, that sociology is the systematic study of human society. As you know, it is not a random study but a systematic study of the human society. This is important because sociology focuses on only the human societies and not any other society, be it the animal or the insects kingdom. It is only the human society. This definition needs to be memorized by you. Now, as you all know that father of sociology is Auguste Comte. He has coined the term sociology in 1838. That is why we regard him as the father of sociology. So what is the definition which is provided by Auguste Comte for sociology? It is that sociology is the study of social statics and social dynamics. This is statics. Okay, so it is the study of social statics and social dynamics. Now, what do you mean by social statics? Social statics mean those particular things which are not changing, or we have these things in our society from very long time. So for example, if you consider patriarchy, either it comes to Western society or if it comes to your Indian society, patriarchy, you will see that has been somewhere or the other a constant features of the society. Similarly, you can consider any other, for example, if you consider religion. So we'll study in our course, we will also be dealing with the origin of religion, how it has changed its forms, etc. But you must know that religion somewhere or the other has been constant in almost every society. Its form may vary, its origin may vary, anything and everything, but the term or the essence of religion remains the same. So that is social statics. Now, social dynamics. What can come under social dynamics? Dynamics would be those things which are changing in the society. So, for example, when you read social processes, your social processes, for example, your urbanization, industrialization, your globalization. So these are kind of social processes. So these are changing in the society. So these can be called as social dynamics. So in a way, Auguste Comte considers that your sociology is the study of social statics and your social dynamics. Now, definitely you can remember this definition for of sociology given by Auguste Comte, and if you find an option, you can directly quote his definition in the exam also. Moving forward, Emile Durkheim has also given one of the definitions called sociology is the science of social institutions. Now, what can be social institutions? Again, it can be an institution of family, it can be religion, it can be politics, it can be your legal system. So it can be any social institution. So sociology is the science of social institutions. I will ask you to remember at least these three definitions. These are very easy definitions and can be remembered easily. So that can be done, so that whenever you have anything, or if you are not finding any introductions for your answer, and if you feel that you can quote the definition of sociology, you can quote that. Now, in order to give you a very brief idea regarding the nature of sociology, so you must know that firstly, sociology, it studies social groups. So what can be the social groups? Again, it can be a mohalla, it can be a village, peer group, city. These can be the social groups which your discipline of sociology studies. Secondly, it studies about the social relationships. These relationships can be again family-based relationships, your relationship between different caste groups, relationship between interclasses. So these can be the different relationships. Third, sociology studies social institutions. As we have just seen that Emile Durkheim also considers sociology as the science of social institutions. So that can be there. Now again, another nature can be study social processes. I have already told you social processes can be these very processes. So it is again a study. So sociology in a nutshell is a study of social groups, social relationships, social institutions and your social processes. Fine, this is largely the nature of your subject of sociology. Fine. Now moving forward, now we'll directly shift towards our topic. This was a brief introduction for you regarding the nature and the discipline of sociology. Now we'll start and we'll directly now shift to the modernity and social changes in Europe which actually led to the emergence of sociology. This is your unit 1. So for you, what I will tell you that what you must remember in modernity, and I will obviously teach you about modernity. So first of all, try to learn the definition of modernity, which is as follows. You can learn this definition straight away. It is social, political, economic and cultural conditions which actually took place with scientific revolution, or you can if you want, you can write a complete definition like: modernity refers to the social, political, economic and cultural conditions that emerged in West from 17th century, particularly with scientific revolution, enlightenment and revolutions like industrial revolution. In basically, what does it means is that modernity refers to the economic, political, social and cultural conditions which emerged in your West in which time period, particularly from the 17th century. The conditions which took place in West from your 17th century because of your scientific revolution, because of your enlightenment period and because of other revolutions like your industrial revolution, your French revolution. So the changes which these all things brought about led to your modernity. So this is the definition that you must remember for modernity. Fine. Now in order to give you an idea, I would say I would be starting with modernity. I will be dealing with modernity in great depth. Now there can be 3 types of modernity. One can be your ideological, okay, I'll write it here. There can be 3 types of modernity. One, your ideological modernity. Second can be your economic modernity. And third can be your political modernity. So now, ideological modernity is nothing but your enlightenment, which you call is your intellectual period also. Here we'll see that there were a lot of philosophers, intellectuals which came forward and somewhere or the other contributed to the rise of sociology. So we'll discuss regarding enlightenment, which was your ideological modernity. Then your economic modernity was because of your industrial revolution. and your political modernity was particularly because of your French Revolution, which took place in France. So that was, we'll discuss these one by one. This is to give you an idea that modernity can be into three phases. One, your ideological, then political, and your economic modernity. Fine. Now, your modernity, first we'll deal with what happened which led to the modernity. So now we'll be reading about the scientific revolution, that initially during 16th to 18th century, there was actually the scientific revolution which contributed to your modernity. Now, what were the components of your scientific revolution? Scientific revolution, as the name suggests, promoted scientific thought in the society. So there was a shift from your religious philosophical thought to the one which was based on empirical evidences. Now, each and every one was stressing that only that knowledge is correct which is based on empirical evidence. अगर हम किसी चीज़ को prove कर सकते हैं, then that knowledge is correct. ऐसा नहीं कि अगर हमारी सोसाइटी में कुछ भी हो रहा है, एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हो रही है, कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है, सो इट कैन, earlier these discriminations etc were based on religious or philosophical notions, but now there was a shift and it was said that we will believe in that knowledge which is based on the empirical evidences. For example, you would know that Copernicus was there, who has given the heliocentric model of your solar system. So what did he say? He said that it is not that Earth, your Copernicus, he said that it is not the Earth which is in the center and all other planets including the sun revolves around it, which was actually the geocentric model of Church. Your Copernicus, he said that sun is in the center and all other planets revolve around it. So this was a scientific idea which was being promoted by Copernicus. So you can see that there was a shift from the religious ideas that it was Earth in between and everything moving around it, to the empirical evidences. He had collected the evidences and he found that it was the other way round. So there was a shift towards the scientific thought. Similarly, when it comes to Isaac Newton, he also gave we study 3 laws of Newton. So he was the person who told about gravity. So as you know that there was a shift to the scientific knowledge. Everyone was stressing that we should talk about the scientific notions, scientific evidences. Now, these are some keywords which you can note for your scientific revolution. So whenever, if you are writing a question on your evolution or I would say the emergence of sociology, if you have to quote something related to scientific revolution, learn these keywords. So one is obviously rise. This can be rise of modern thinking. There was rise of modern thinking, that now we stressed that we will not believe in the religious knowledge or the philosophical knowledge, but we will believe on the modern thinking, which will be based on what? Which will be based on rationalism, which will be based on reason, logic. हम ऐसी ही knowledge पे believe करेंगे which would be based on reason and knowledge. Empiricism, this is I. So empiricism, we will only believe on the knowledge which is based on the empirical evidences. So what happened is, technically it challenged the religious authority, the church authority, and the push was given towards the modern thinking. We were moving apart or away from your traditional authority towards the modern thinking processes. So this was the contribution of your scientific revolution. Now, how it promoted modernity? Obviously, because now we are talking about science, we are talking about logics, we are talking about reason. So everything is related to the modern thinking, or we can call it as modernity. Fine. Now, this is Renaissance. Now you can say that modernity started, or the idea of modernity can be, or it was given a birth by the period of Renaissance. Renaissance was the period between 14th to 17th century. Yes, it was a period between 14th to 17th century. Now, if you want, you can note down the definition of Renaissance. I will dictate it, and if you want, you can note it down also, so that when you are having a question specific to your Renaissance, you can have the definition. So, what is Renaissance? Renaissance is the rebirth of classical learning, based on literary, historical, and religious texts. Based on literary, historical, and religious texts, which were typically written in ancient Greek and Latin languages. So now, what did Renaissance do? The period of Renaissance, as I've told you, that it was a rebirth of classical learning. There was cultural flowering in various fields, including art, music, philosophy. So now the thing was that, if you know that basically the societies which we had in the ancient times, in very ancient times, the ancient times societies were more or less egalitarian, and there was no such kind of discrimination which was seen in very ancient societies. For example, if you relate it to India, when we have the Rig Vedic society, we consider it to be an egalitarian society. It was the later Vedic society from which we saw that particularly the discriminations and the exploitation started. So it was typically the Rig Vedic society which was egalitarian. So when we talk about Renaissance, you must be knowing that we also talk about Indian Renaissance. So उसमें हम क्या बात करते हैं कि हमारे जो स्कॉलर्स थे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल राजा राम मोहन रॉय, और हमारे स्कॉलर्स थे जैसे ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर, उन लोगों ने क्या किया था? दे propagated that we must abolish all the social evils which we are having in the society. उन्होंने बोला था that we must rely on our ancient texts. फॉर एग्जाम्पल राजा राम मोहन रॉय ने उपनिषद के लिए आपको प्रीच किया. सिमिलरली आपके जो दयानंद सरस्वती थे, उन्होंने आपको वेदास के लिए बोला. तो उन्होंने बोला ना कि आप एंशियंट टेक्स्ट पे जाओ, क्योंकि ये एंशियंट टेक्स्ट आपको बताते हैं दैट आवर सोसाइटी इन एंशियंट टाइम्स वाज नॉट unequal, rather it was a very egalitarian society. Similarly, for your Renaissance in West, what happened is the people who were involved during the time of Renaissance, they stressed on the idea that we must go back to the times when there was no discrimination and the society was egalitarian. So you can note that there were three key elements of Renaissance. These elements were humanism, realism, and again empiricism. Now, what is the meaning of these three terms? Humanism. Humanism means that human is at the center of all activities. इस टाइम पे क्या होने लग गया था? There was a belief up till this point of time that God is at the center. कुछ भी हो रहा है तो वो God की वजह से हो रहा है. If आपकी सोसाइटी में प्लेग फैल रहा है, तो इट इज द wrath ऑफ गॉड दैट बिकॉज ऑफ विच प्लेग इज स्प्रेडिंग इन द सोसाइटी. बट ह्यूमनिज्म और रेनेसा के पीरियड पे ये हुआ कि नो, ह्यूमन इज एट द सेंटर ऑफ ऑल एक्टिविटीज. अगर प्लेग फैल रहा है तो उसका भी कुछ उसका ऐसा रीजन है कि हम बेसिकली ह्यूमंस उसको अच्छे से क्लीनिनेस मेंटेन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, कोई इशू है जिसकी वजह से रॉडेंट्स आ जाते हैं और जिसकी वजह से प्लेग हो जाता है. So human is at the center of all activities and it is not God. Second, realism. What is the meaning of realism? It stressed on the idea that we must depict everything as real and not consider it to be imaginary. Basically, it asked that we should not live in idealism. ऐसा नहीं कि हम सोचें कि ऐसी सोसाइटी होनी चाहिए या ऐसी कोई चीज़ होनी चाहिए. नहीं, आप उसको करो. यू मेक एन egalitarian society. It talked about realism. Do not fall into the idea of idealism. किसी भी चीज़ को रोमांटिसाइज नहीं करना है, किसी भी चीज़ को रोमांटिसाइज नहीं करना, आपको रियलिटी में जीना है. लिव इन रियलिटी, जैसे हम आज भी बोलते हैं ना, लिव इन रियलिटी. सो दैट वॉज द थिंग दैट रियलिज्म स्ट्रेस्ड अपॉन. नाउ Fine. The next word is empiricism. So what is again empiricism? Means that whatever knowledge that you are having must be based on empirical evidences. So again, your period of Renaissance stressed on the idea of empirical evidence, that is, that knowledge is true which is based on empirical evidence. So these are the three key words that you must remember whenever you would be studying your Renaissance. Fine. So for example, whenever a question comes and it says you that how did sociology emerge because of the cultural reasons, or for example, if it says that there were certain cultural or certain things which contributed to the rise of sociology, you will have to write about your Renaissance period. Obviously, when it asks you regarding modernity, then also you will have to write about your your Renaissance. And when it asks you regarding the scientific temper, that scientific temper was developing and it led to the contribution of your Renaissance, or I'm sorry, your sociology, then also you will have to write about Renaissance. So somewhere or the other, the scientific temper, the empiricism, the reality was being stressed upon during the period of Renaissance. And obviously you can talk about scientific revolution also. Fine. Moving forward is the period of Enlightenment. Now this is actually your intellectual movement, as we mentioned that it is a part of ideological modernity, or it can be a part of your intellectual movement. This was actually the intellectual movement which led to the emergence of sociology, or which actually contributed to modernity. Now, what is Enlightenment? Enlightenment is nothing but the age of reason. So, if you have to define enlightenment in one word, simply do that enlightenment is the age of reason. It was the intellectual thought which led to, or it was the intellectual movement. Now, this intellectual movement was being led by the philosophers called, one is Montesquieu and other is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. They emphasized, now what was their emphasis? They emphasized on reason, individualism. Reason, obviously that there should be a reason, कोई भी चीज हम ऐसे ही नहीं मानेंगे, there should be a reason, a logic behind that. Individualism, that the rights of an individual does matters. They did not talk about entire society, they talked about individualism. Then they talked about the ideas of equality, social awakening, liberalism and critical thinking. Again, as I'm telling you, these are the keywords for the topic of enlightenment. Whenever you get a question that how did enlightenment or how did the intellectual thought contributed to the rise of sociology, you will have to write these keywords along with the name of these philosophers. That enlightenment was the age of reason, led by the philosophers like Montesquieu and Reason, who emphasized on reason, individualism and the ideas like equality, liberalism and critical thinking. Furthermore, during this period only, it was Darwin who gave organic evolution. What was organic evolution of Darwin? He considered that basically an organism, he considered the biological organism, he has given the evolution of organism. And he said that the fittest will survive in the society and rest will go. So similarly, this actually influenced the sociological thought, wherein the early sociologists considered that society also evolves in a similar fashion. What does it mean? Is that जो भी society के अंदर features हैं, अगर वो if they are able to survive, they will survive, और अगर वो society के को नहीं आगे फॉरवर्ड ले जा सकते हैं या सोसाइटी में उनका कोई काम नहीं है, तो सोसाइटी के वो वाले फीचर्स अपने आप ही खत्म हो जाएंगे और नए फीचर्स आएंगे. नाउ इफ यू कंसिडर फॉर एग्जांपल पेट्रियार्की, तो पेट्रियार्की ऐसा फीचर है जो कहीं ना कहीं अपने आप को किसी ना किसी तरीके से एडजस्ट कर लेता है और एडजस्ट करके वो हमारी सोसाइटी में रह जाता है. सो सोसाइटी इज ऑल्सो इवॉल्विंग इन ऑल द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी आर इवॉल्विंग इन सिमिलर फैशन. So this was told by Darwin, and it obviously influenced your early sociological thought. Fine. Now what happened is, these all thoughts, these were very new thoughts. Now no one was talking about, I would say, no one was talking about reason, no one was talking about logic, no one was talking about your individual, but now these things were being talked about, either from your Renaissance or from the Enlightenment period. These things were being stressed upon. Every person, now the different philosophers were stressing upon these particular things. So obviously what will happen is, सोसाइटी के अंदर हलचल क्रिएट होगी, सोसाइटी के अंदर अपहीवल्स आएंगे, सोसाइटी में चेंजेस आएंगे. ऐसा हो जाएगा कि अभी तो हम ये वाली बातें कर रहे थे कि भाई हम सिर्फ गॉड में बिलीव करेंगे, डिस्क्रिमिनेशंस होंगी, और हम डिस्क्रिमिनेशंस को भी कहीं ना कहीं गॉड या जो हमारे रिलीजियस स्क्रिप्चर्स होते हैं, टेक्स्ट होते हैं, उनके बेसिस पे जस्टिफाई कर देंगे. बट नाउ देयर वर चेंजेस बीइंग ब्रॉट अबाउट इन द सोसाइटी, एंड देयर वर अपहीवल्स इन द सोसाइटी, देयर वर चेंजेस इन द सोसाइटी. सो दिस इन्फ्लुएंस्ड योर अर्ली सोशियोलॉजिकल थॉट. अब लोग सोशियोलॉजिकल थॉट सोच में आने लग गए थे. They started considering that there can be some other things also. There can be reason, there can be ideas, and so on and so forth. Fine. For your modernity, obviously these are now the political, we'll discuss about the political revolution or political modernity and your economic modernity. Then I will give you some keywords for modernity also that you can quote in your answers. Fine. Firstly, now we'll discuss that how did your political revolution, that is your French Revolution. Just a second. Yes, how did the political revolution brought about the political modernity? I hope you understood that how the period of Renaissance, and how did your period of Enlightenment, or how did Renaissance and Enlightenment contributed to the development of sociology or emergence of sociology. So what happened was, Renaissance की वजह से basically the three ideas that we stressed upon, your humanism, empiricism, and your realism, so these changes were being brought about in the society. Somewhere or the other, the scientific temper, it brought about the scientific temper. Enlightenment कैसे? It was the age of reason. So now there were new ideas in the society by Montesquieu, Rousseau, and they were talking about individual, they were talking about logics, they were talking about, or there was another scholar, Darwin, whose ideas of society, of organic evolution or influenced the sociological thought that society can also evolve in similar pattern. So society भी similar pattern में evolve हो सकती है जैसे हमारा एक organism evolve होता है. So these new ideas, these were the new ideas which contributed to some new thinking which actually led to sociology. Now, political modernity or political revolutions, wherein we'll have to study about the French Revolution, that how French Revolution contributed to the idea of modernity. Now, as you would know that in the French, or in France, there was the rule of the Bourbon dynasty. Now this Bourbon dynasty, King Louis XIV, he was the king, and actually there were three states. So now these three states, the clergy, nobility, and the commoners, you need not actually, I would say, you need not have to learn these things, these particular things, but you must have a background. That is why I am telling you, or basically I am giving an idea. So these were clergy, nobility, and your commoners. So all the clergy and the nobility, they were accessing all the benefits, all the taxes, etc. But it was the commoners who were suffering. They were the people who were paying the taxes, but they were having no rights, or they were having no say into the government, no say in the government. So which actually finally led to somewhat called French Revolution. Now, we need not, as I mentioned, we need not know the I would say the reasons for French Revolution, but what is important for you is to know the outcomes of French Revolution, which which supported the idea of sociology. Now, what were the outcomes of French Revolution? We'll read them. Yes. So, what were the ideas of French Revolution? You can remember these. I have written it in very short. How? What were the new ideas? First idea was that your monarch got replaced by a republic. So now people of France, they abolished monarchy. They abolished the kingship system and it was established by a republic, the head of the state. Now the head of the state would be an elected person. So that is the French Revolution brought about first change. Now you consider yourself that how big it is a change in the society, that up till now our society was being ruled by a king, but now it would be an elected representative who will rule us. ये अपने आप में कितनी बड़ी बात है कि अभी तक जो हमारा रूलर था वो एक हेरिडिटरी किंग था, but now a person would be a republic, an elected person. Now we also will have a say in electing our representative. So this was a very big change in the society. Now, feudalism was abolished as an outcome of French Revolution. What does it mean? The landlord system, it got abolished. अब ऐसा नहीं होगा कि एक लैंडलॉर्ड होगा और वो टेनेंट्स को एम्प्लॉय करेगा, डिप्लॉय करेगा और वो उनके ऊपर अपनी हुक्म चलाएगा. ऐसा अब नहीं होगा. Feudalism got abolished. Again, this is a very very big change which was brought about in the society. The powers of the church were being transferred to the state. Now you can see that the state became secular. अभी तक जो सारी powers थी, it were being exercised by church. As I mentioned that there were 3 states: clergy, nobility and your commoners. So all the powers were there in the clergy. ये जो church में बैठे लोग थे वो ही सारे rules बना रहे थे, वही सारा अपना हुकूमत चला रहे थे. But now these powers were being transferred in the state where the elected representative would be a republic. Dawn of modern era. These were, what can be the dawn of modern era? If you know, I believe that yes you know. These were the 3 ideas of equality, fraternity and your liberty. So these ideas were given light. Now people started talking about equality, dawn of modern era. Now people started talking about fraternity, brotherhood, that everyone is equal or everyone should contribute to the welfare of each other person. Everyone started talking about liberty. हमें किसी के अंडर नहीं रहना. We want that liberty for ourselves. So now you imagine that how big were these particular changes कि आपका जो मोनार्क है वो रिपब्लिक में चेंज हो गया, फ्यूडलिज्म अबॉलिश हो गया, डॉन ऑफ मॉडर्न ईरा आया, आपके 3 नए आइडियाज आए. ये चेंजेस अपने आप में कितने बड़े थे दैट योर सोसाइटी गॉट ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीटली चेंज्ड. सोसाइटी के अंदर इतने सारे चेंजेस आ रहे थे कि सोसाइटी में अब हमें ये ज़रूरी हो गया था दैट वी अंडरस्टैंड दीज चेंजेस, दैट वी स्टडी दैट वाई दीज पर्टिकुलर चेंजेस आर बीइंग टेकिंग प्लेस. हमें समझना था कि क्यों ये चेंजेस आए हैं, इन चेंजेस के आने का क्या मतलब है. That is why somewhere or the other we found a new discipline called the discipline of sociology, जो कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ सोसाइटी को पढ़े और हमें बताए कि ये चेंजेस अगर आए हैं रेवोल्यूशन की वजह से तो उन चेंजेस का क्या मतलब है. Till now, even if there were disciplines called political science, there was economy, there was history, there were these disciplines. But these disciplines were unable to explain these particular changes. I would say the complete overhaul of society was not being captured by these particular disciplines. So we felt a need that there must be a special discipline which only deals about these particular changes. So what we came out with? We came out with sociology. So that sociology now can study these changes, that why are these changes taking place, what is the impact of these changes, how will the society respond. So all these changes were obviously then read by or dealt by our discipline called sociology. Now this is the thing that you can note, this is important, You can, whenever, if you find if you would have gone through the PYQs, there are questions that how revolutions have contributed to the emergence of sociology. So there, when you are writing about French Revolution, do quote about Peter Berger. What did Peter Berger say? One thing, this is sociology. This, you will find this multiple times in the short notes where S would be written and a circle would be made. So this means sociology. This is for entire lectures that we will have. Sociology is one of the intellectual products of French Revolution. This is French Revolution. As you can see, French Revolution is written here also. I will clear this up. This is French Revolution, so this is also French Revolution. And Peter Berger, sociology is one of the intellectual products of French Revolution. You must remember this quote of Peter Berger. We will deal this later, American Revolution, because it is away from Europe. I will tell you that how can a question come. So this is again a different thing, but this was actually your, I would say, this thing, your political modernity. This was your political modernity. Fine? Okay. Moving forward. Now we'll talk about the economic modernity. That how did your economic modernity, that is your industrial revolution, contributed to the rise of sociology. Fine. So what is the thing? You must remember, firstly try to remember the definition of industrial revolution. Again, I will dictate one definition, you can note it down. Okay. Before that, one thing, this is important, material development. When you are asked that what were the material developments which led to the emergence of sociology, you will have to write about industrial revolution. So now, what is the definition of industrial revolution? Industrial revolution is the mass production of goods in a factory setting with some degree of mechanized production technology. I will repeat, it is a mass production of goods in a factory kind of a setting with some degree of mechanized production technology. Fine. Again, as I mentioned for the French Revolution, you may not know or you may not learn the reason for French Revolution. Similarly, you may not learn or actually know the factors which led to industrial revolution. This obviously you will be dealing in world history, that what were the factors which led to industrial revolution. But here what is important for us as part of sociology is that we understand the outcomes of French Revolution. We understand that what were the changes which were brought about by industrial revolution, that it finally led to the discipline of sociology. So what were the changes or what were the outcomes? Some important outcomes again were that the nature of economy changed from agrarian to the industrial. What was it? It was that till now, how was our economy? Till now our economy was agrarian. That is, हमें पता है farmers हैं, हमें पता है fields हैं और हमारा production जो है वो fields में हो रहा है and we are producing the goods. So the nature of the economy till now was agrarian, but now with French Revolution it became industrial. अब factories बनने लगी, अब industries बनने लगी. Similarly, the center of economic activity, it changed from rural to your urban. अभी तक हम लोग agriculture में थे, so we were part of the rural society. But now as industries are being established in the urban areas, so people were shifting to the urban areas. Now the place of work was being shifting from field to a factory. New classes got emerged. What were the new classes? These were your, I would say, owners, and these were your workers. What are Karl Marx calls bourgeois and proletariat. So new classes were being formed. So if you can imagine, for a society which was up till now an agrarian society, up till now everyone was working in fields, there was a landlord or a feudal kind of a system. Now in that society, factories are established. People are starting moving to urban areas and working in the factories. So these changes were a big of, I would say, very large changes and very huge changes. which again, as we discussed for French Revolution, that even if there were disciplines called polity or political science or economy or history, but these disciplines were unable to explain explain the changes which were taking place in the society, these changes which were taking place in the society. So there was actually a pressing need, for a new discipline, what does it do, which will only study the society, जो कि specifically society को पढ़े और हमें बताए कि ये सारे changes जो आए हैं, ये सारे changes क्यों आए हैं, क्या reason है इन सब changes के आने का. Fine. बिकॉज इफ यू सी इकोनॉमिक चेंजेस तो ठीक है, आपको यहाँ से पता चल जाएंगे, तो मे बी अगर आपके पास इकोनॉमी होती तो इकोनॉमी आपको पढ़ लेती. न्यू क्लासेस इमर्ज हो रही हैं, ये कहीं ना कहीं आपका पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट भी है. नाउ यू विल सी मोर सोशल चेंजेस, यू विल सी दैट दीज आर द सोशल चेंजेस. सो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन की वजह से यू विल सी दैट इकोनॉमिक चेंजेस आए, पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस आए, सोशल चेंजेस आए. सो इतने सारे चेंजेस थे और कोई भी एक डिसिप्लिन नहीं था जो इन सारे चेंजेस को साइमल्टेनियसली पढ़े. That is why we felt a pressing need for a new discipline which completely dedicates itself to the study of human society, that is why we brought something called sociology. Now, as I mentioned that with industrial revolution, some new changes were being brought. What were these changes? Urbanization, as we have seen here that people were moving from rural to urban areas. So obviously urbanization. Family nuclearization. Why family nuclearization? Because when people or when a worker was moving from rural area to urban area, he or she were not taking their family along with them. क्योंकि ये तो बहुत कॉमन रीजन है, आपको भी पता है कि कोई भी अगर अपने काम के लिए शिफ्ट करता है तो इनिशियली दैट पर्सन डज नॉट टेक्स देयर इंटायर फैमिली, वो अकेले जाते हैं और काम करते हैं. सो दैट इज वाई इन द रूरल एरियाज एंड ऑल्सो इन द अर्बन एरियाज, क्योंकि वो वाला पर्सन, वर्किंग पर्सन सिर्फ अकेला अर्बन एरिया में जा रहा है. So there were family nuclearization. Evolving literacy. Now this was a positive thing that till now the education was actually religious in nature. हर कोई text पढ़ रहा था, religious text पढ़ रहा था, but now it expanded and the nature of your education became merit based. हम अब इंडस्ट्रीज के बारे में पढ़ने लगे, हम अब न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज के बारे में पढ़ने लगे. सो इवॉल्विंग लिटरेसी. ट्रेड यूनियन वर राइजिंग. वाई ट्रेड यूनियंस? बिकॉज लेबर वॉज बींग एस्टैब्लिश्ड. नाउ लेबर्स ऑल्सो, इफ यू नो दैट दे वर बींग एक्सप्लॉइटेड, तो इनके राइट्स के लिए बात करने के लिए वी वर हैविंग ट्रेड यूनियंस. एन आइडिया ऑफ सोशलिज्म वॉज बींग एस्टैब्लिश्ड. Socialism क्यों? because of the discrimination or I would say the exploitation of your workers, of your laborers. There was a call for socialism, that everyone should be treated equally and there should be no discriminations, there should be a welfare state. So the idea of a welfare state started emerging. So again you can see that whatever we have discussed are the changes in the society, that there were massive changes which were being introduced in the society in the West at that very point of time. So what happened again, as I told you, that because of these changes which took place, the social, political and your economic changes, economic changes which took place in the society, we wanted a discipline that particularly studies these changes, and tell us that why these changes are taking place. So there was a need for a new discipline, and that is why we evolved or we established a discipline called sociology. Fine. I hope you people are understanding. Okay, now the last thing which is left is your fallouts of modernity, and also which led to the emergence of sociology. Now what is the idea? The idea first of all is that modernity was not only, I would say, on the good side. It was not only on the good side. There were definitely some fallouts of modernity also. Sociology not only emerged in order to study the positive changes of modernity, that what were the ideas, your new reason, your individualism. No, it also emerged in order to study these fallouts of modernity. So what were the fallouts? Poverty. So as I mentioned, as we have seen that industrial revolution was there, but there were establishment of new classes. So the labor class which got established, this labor class was being exploited and actually it went into poverty. Development of slums, obviously you should know that why was development of slums. Yes, you are right, because people were shifting from rural to urban areas. So but urban areas did not have that much capacity, so it led to the development of slums. Nuclearization, this is family nuclearization, obviously. So this is again a fallout, because who would like that a joint family or an extended family breaks down into a nuclear family? So that is somewhere or the other a fallout of modernity. There were some new crimes, there were some petty crimes, there was theft, etc. You can consider that it was in slums, and new crimes got emerged. Degradation of labor, we have talked about this, and colonialism. This is very important. You must know that one of the fallout of your industrial revolution or your modernity per se was colonialism. Now with establishment of industries and with expansion of these industries, the colonists, they started exploring new markets, or I would say new colonies. They established new colonies for the purpose of raw material. So for the search of raw materials, because of this industrial revolution, it somewhere, or I would not even somewhere, it actually led to colonialism. So this was one of the fallout of modernity. So what is sociology? Sociology not just emerged in order to study the positives of modernity, but also the fallouts of modernity. So our sociology not only study the positive but also the fallouts. Fine. Now this is the last thing actually, the counter enlightenment view. What is the counter enlightenment view? I will tell you. See, the counter enlightenment, as we have just studied, what was the enlightenment? Enlightenment period में क्या होता है? So enlightenment period में our philosophers like Montesquieu, Rousseau, इन लोगों ने, and also there were others also, there were Thomas Hobbes who gave the theory of state. Fine. So there were other people also. There was Adam Smith, who has talked about the invisible hand in economics. So these were all new, or I would say the scholars who gave new theories, who gave new ideas to the society. So now comes the counter enlightenment. Counter enlightenment critiqued the period of enlightenment. It said that the sociology has emerged actually not because of, or I would say there were some people who criticized enlightenment, who said basically, as we have studied the fallouts of modernity, so these counter enlightenment theorists, they emerged to study these fallouts of modernity. Enlightenment, as I mentioned, was the period of enlightenment was stressing on only the reason, individual, on only the good part of society. But your counter enlightenment theorists, they said that no, we have to also study the fallouts of modernity, that what were the negatives of your modernity. There were some changes, or I would say the differences between your enlightenment and your counter enlightenment theorist, wherein your enlightenment theorist, they stressed on individual. Your counter enlightenment theorists, they said that society is important. See, you can read it here. Society cannot be understood, or okay, this is another point. So first point is that it was stressing on individual, but it stressed on society. It said that individual is a part of society, so we cannot just rely on studying the individual, but it is important to study the society also. Here it said that society can be studied only by studying the reason. Obviously, as he mentioned, that enlightenment was the age of reason, but they said that no, society cannot be understood. Just a second. Okay, why did I erase that? Fine. Yes, they said that society cannot be understood through reason alone. So that is why they established, or they highlighted the importance of social institutions in social cohesion. They said that we cannot always talk about reason. We will have to study about other things also. We will have to study about social institutions for establishing social cohesion, social harmony, social cohesion, social harmony के लिए they said that we will have to study the social institutions also. What can be social institutions? Obviously we have discussed, it can be family, it can be religion, it can be political system. Also, what did your counter enlightenment theorist said? That it is also, as we said here, it is only talking about reason. They said that we cannot only talk about reason, we will have to talk about culture, we will have to talk about traditions, fine, which actually are also shaping the society. So this was the counter enlightenment perspective. This is very important perspective. My personal suggestion to you would be that if at all you get a question, this is a very important thing that you must note, that if you are getting a question of enlightenment, you will have to write one argument of counter enlightenment also, fine. So when you are getting one question or any question about enlightenment, or if you are attempting a question on enlightenment, give one perspective of counter enlightenment, because without counter enlightenment your enlightenment question cannot finish, fine. For this, one important scholar is also there, which I have mentioned here. He is Irving Zetlin. He, in his book Ideology and the Development of Sociological Theory, I hope that you all people would have gone through the strategy video that I have or that Understand UPSC has posted on its channel. So in that strategy session, I have told you that it is important that you learn the names of certain books so that it gives a good impression to the examiner. So similarly, I am showing you this in these very short notes, that when I mention that there is a scholar called Irving Zetlin, I am quoting that he, in his book called The Ideology and the Development of Sociological Theory, said that sociology emerged or sociology developed as a reaction to enlightenment. What does this mean? That सोशियोलॉजी के लिए जो रिएक्शंस आए, रिएक्शंस कैसे, ये जो अभी हमने ये काउंटर इनलाइटनमेंट पढ़ा, जो सोशियोलॉजी और जो इनलाइटनमेंट के लिए जो दिस इज इनलाइटनमेंट, ओके प्लीज़ आप लोग अगर जब आपको ये मिलेंगे शॉर्ट नोट्स, तब आप इनमें या तो फुल लिख सकते हो, मैंने बहुत शॉर्ट नोट्स बनाए हैं इसीलिए आई हैव मेंशनड इट लाइक दिस वे, यू कैन राइट इट कम्प्लीटली, ओके. सो दिस इज इनलाइटनमेंट. Irving Zetlin, in his book Ideology and the Development of Sociological Theory, said that sociology developed as a reaction to enlightenment. जो भी enlightenment को लेकर reactions आए, जिन भी scholars के reactions आए, उन reactions के basis पे actually sociology got emerged. What does this actually means? This actually means that sociology आई, वो तो आई, ठीक है, मतलब, और आई एम सॉरी, enlightenment आया तो वो तो आया. इनलाइटनमेंट में हमने बहुत सारी बातें कर ली, हमने रीज़न के बारे में बात कर ली, इंडिविजुअल के बारे में बात कर ली, हमने लॉजिक्स के बारे में बात कर ली, ठीक है, ये सब तो हमने इनलाइटनमेंट में बात कर ली, ये तो सब चीज़ें ठीक है. बट जब इसका रिएक्शन आया काउंटर इनलाइटनमेंट थियरिस्ट के थ्रू, जब काउंटर इनलाइटनमेंट थियरिस्ट आए और उन्होंने रिएक्शन दिया कि नहीं, सिर्फ रीजन इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, कल्चर भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ट्रेडिशन भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, सोसाइटी भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. जब ये सारी चीज़ें हमें पता चली, ये सारी चीज़ें और ये सारी चीज़ें, देन वी गॉट समथिंग कॉल्ड सोशियोलॉजी. इज इट अंडरस्टैंडेबल? So in a nutshell, what I want to tell you is that when we talk about sociology and its emergence, we will have to see that we will be studying, or we should be knowing about modernity. What is the meaning of modernity? What are the types of modernity? Obviously political, economic and your ideological modernity. Then you should know about the scientific revolution, that what are the keywords and what happened in scientific revolution. You must know about Renaissance, these 3 keywords for your Renaissance. Then you must know about this is the ideological modernity, your enlightenment. Along with your enlightenment only, if you want, you can know about the counter enlightenment. So even if it is written on the next page, you can consider that enlightenment and your counter enlightenment will go side by side. These two things will go side by side. Then Then what will come is, for what was important for the emergence of sociology, it was your political revolutions and your economic revolutions. So for political revolutions you had French Revolution, and for the economic revolution you had Industrial Revolution. So as we have discussed all these things, so in a way all these changes contributed to what? All these changes contributed for us to develop a new and a complete, wholly different discipline, I would say, called the discipline of, yes, sociology. I hope that you people now understand that what or how, even if not understand, this is important that you revise your concepts. So this lecture simply was for your revision, that you must, whenever you are reading your basic notes, you must know about modernity, scientific revolution, Renaissance, Enlightenment, counter Enlightenment, French Revolution. This we'll discuss this right now, and Industrial Revolution, this fine. So these are the things that you must note them down and you must learn for your first unit. These are the very short notes that we will be uploading on the on your portals only, so you can take a note and you can see that these are the very important keywords that you will have to remember when you remember your first unit. So these are some very important keywords. Fine. Okay. Now, okay, before in American Revolution, I want to tell you one more thing also. So obviously in your basic foundation or your preparation, you would have also read about the Dark Ages and about the Commercial Revolution, right? So these things have also been told to you. I have not discussed these things for a specific reason, because these were to give you a background and to give you an idea that what was happening prior to modernity. So obviously it was from your 5th century CE. So basically Dark Age was there. So this happened at this very point of time. Then there came the Commercial Revolution, जहाँ पर आपके trade routes develop हो रहे थे, sea routes develop हो रहे थे. So this all happened. Then we had the phase of Renaissance. So when 14 to your 17th century. From here we can say that our period of modernity started. So I have not dealt with these particular topics. I hope that if you want, you can go through them from your own basic notes. Fine. Why I have included this thing that is called your American Revolution here. See, even if it is not part of your European era, but there can be a question that whether sociology was a product of only the European revolutions. It can be a question. I have read this question in some test series. That is why I am telling you. That was the sociology, the discipline of sociology, only the result of your revolutions which took place in Europe. Obviously that was the case, but that was not the only case. That was not the only case. You must remember this very, very accurately. Because we also had American Revolution. And if you know that American Revolution happened before your French Revolution. So it was in 1789 and it was before that. Your American Revolution was before your French Revolution. So, and obviously your French Revolution was being inspired by somewhere or the other American Revolution also. So American Revolution also, it stressed upon 3 unalienable, you can also write inalienable rights. It stressed upon 3 unalienable rights of man. And what were these 3 unalienable rights? Right to life, right to liberty, and right to pursuit of happiness. What does this mean? हर किसी के पास right है, right to life का. Everybody has the right to live. Everybody has the right to liberty. हर किसी के पास liberty का right है. हर कोई जो ठीक हो, उसे लगता है ठीक है, वो pursue कर सकता है. Everybody has the right to pursuit of happiness. हर किसी को खुश रहने का हक है. So again, as you notice, or if you notice, that these also were some new ideas which were being brought about as a result of, and one more thing is democracy. As you know, as you must know, that the term democracy was actually a result of your American Revolution. So these new ideas, again, what you know that I'll say, these new ideas now brought new perspectives into the society, new pictures into the society. And again, these principles, these ideas, these pictures were not being able to be studied by the existing disciplines. That is why we felt that there is a need for a new discipline, and that is why what happened is the new discipline called sociology emerged. Fine. So I believe that everything that could have been discussed for the first unit, which is the modernity and social changes, has been dealt. Fine. Try to revise all these things so that it becomes very clear to you, and try to solve the questions. What you can do is, after taking the lecture, try to go through the PYQs. First try to revise. If you have not included any of the points from here into your notes, you can include them. Otherwise, you can just have these very short notes also. Now your task is to do the PYQs and look at the videos which we have already uploaded on your portal for those PYQs. Try to solve the PYQs of unit 1 and then go through these videos. You will see and you will have an idea that what was it that you were to write. These are the ideal answers. So you will know that what could have been written by you, and you can evaluate your answers from these videos. Fine. So fine. So our first lecture is done here, and I'll see you for the next lecture. I will tell that I'll write here or obviously you would have been provided with the schedule also, but our next topic would be sociology and common sense. Sociology and common sense, or the comparison between the two, and obviously the scope of sociology and its comparison with other disciplines. Here I will try to give you as many similarities and as many differences. Similarities and differences with obviously the scholars' names, so that even if you are not having any scholar, you will have them. I will be giving you similarities, differences and scholars' name. Fine. So this is the mandate for the second lecture. See you in the second lecture. Till then, all the very best to all of you. Keep studying, and yes, be regular, because it is high time, at least for the people who will be appearing for this year. So fine. Bye to all of you. Take care.